Hello, and thanks very much for joining this session where we're going to be talking about our master's course in engineering management. My name's Tina and I'm from the Brunel marketing team, and I have with me Dr. Susan Grant, who is the course director of engineering management. Thank you very much for joining me, Susan.
Pleasure.
Would you like to kick us off by giving a brief academic bio of yourself and your academic life?
Okay, thank you. Yes, so I started life really as an economist at university, and so my first degrees are in economics, and my bachelor's in economics, my master's and my PhD. And then I went on to work at the International Petroleum Exchange in the City for a number of years as an economist, before moving on to working in a university full-time as a university lecturer. My research also has been in economics and specifically in the field of supply chain management and operations management and knowledge management. And that's also been conducted at Brunel primarily, as I've been here now for coming up to 17 years.
Wow. So you're definitely not a typical engineering lecturer then, in terms of background.
Certainly not. No, I'm an economist by background, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. And how long has our engineering management master's been running, and what's the main aim of it?
So engineering management has been running now for just over 20 years.
Wow.
Yes, a long time. It's a very popular course. We have a very large number of students attend every year. The main aim, as you asked me, was really to develop competent engineering managers for industry, for engineering consultancy and manufacturing in the UK and outside of the UK. We seek to sort of develop skills and knowledge that will allow them to, better meet the demands of today's workplace. Mm-hmm. The course itself really has two different aspects to it. It's broad in a sense that it looks at support activities to engineering management and to operations management, which is its key focus. And it also has depth in terms of sort of supply chain management, project management, quality and reliability, which are key or core elements or core building blocks of operations focus, of operations management, which is essentially the course.
Excellent, thanks. So it's been going for 20 years. How do you ensure that it is every year, for every new intake, up to date and relevant from the job market and technology point of view?
That's a very good question, Tina. We constantly update the course with research, up-to-date research that the academics themselves are busy doing. So we always present state-of-the-art material, and we are working in the fields of supply chain management, knowledge management, project management, etc. We also work very closely with industry, so we have an academic liaison forum every year, and we speak to industry and they tell us what they're looking for in their graduates. So we know what skills to keep up to date.
Every year, you say?
Every year we have meetings with industry, with a group of industry. We spend a day with them. We have projects which industry suggests to us as well for dissertations, and they are very relevant to what they're looking for in graduates and what they want to develop in their own organisations. Yeah. So that's kept up to date like that. And then, of course, we have relationships with IMechE and IET. We are accredited. Engineering management is accredited by both those bodies. Yeah. And that, is, of course, is up to date with, it tells us what is up to, what is relevant in industry, in manufacturing, in engineering today, both in the UK and globally.
Right. Very good. That's good to know. So in terms of the modes of study, there is a bit of flexibility. Can you just talk through the differences between starting in September and starting in January?
Yes. So starting in, we used to just have one mode of
point of entry.
Point of entry, which was the October start. So we start in October generally. We have the first term where we look at 4 modules, and then we move on to and as we go through those first 4 modules, we also look at the dissertation across all 3 years. And then we have a second entry in January, and we start with the term 2 modules. And first year, the October starters join the January starters at this point. Right. And we have a duplication there of students, but we have the same modules running. Again, we run through the dissertation module in term 2, and then we come to term 3, where the original starters in October
Yeah.
will be coming to the end of their course, but these January starters will have a final term to finish in January 20, whatever year it will be.
I see, thanks. Can you describe the background of a typical student who enrolls on this course?
Yes, typically we take on students from engineering, with an engineering background. It might be mechanical engineering, it could be chemical engineering, it could be a different sort of engineering.
Straight from university, or?
Generally straight from university. We do have some students who come in after doing a couple of years of work, but usually they come in straight from university with a STEM subject in their undergraduate degree. We do need a very strong command of maths, and we also need a very strong command of English, because a lot of engineering management, as you can imagine, is all about discussing and summarising and writing, so it could be text heavy in places. So it is important that students do have a good command of English and also a good command of maths, which are crucial to getting through the course successfully.
Of course, yes. And it's worth saying at this point that very often we have scholarships available for students on this course. At the time of recording, unfortunately, it's not possible to go through any of them because they haven't yet been set for the coming academic year. But if you're thinking of making an application, it's always worth checking the scholarships page on the website in case there are any that you may be eligible to apply for. Okay, so now let's move on to the actual content of the course. Would you like to just run through sort of top line what the modules are?
Yes, so the compulsory modules are manufacturing systems, design and economics, managing people and organisations, project management, systems modelling and simulation, logistics and global supply chain management, quality management and reliability, and of course we have optional modules as well, where a student is expected to select 2 of those during the year. And these could be 2 from advanced measurement systems and data analysis, computer-aided design and manufacturing technologies, robotics and manufacturing automation, sustainable design and manufacture, and finally design of mechatronic systems.
And are there any of the optional ones that tend to be much more popular than others?
Yes, I think that computer-aided design and manufacturing technologies is a key, is one that's chosen often, and as is robotics and manufacturing automation.
And can people apply who have no background, say, in robotics?
They can. We do have one module there where you are expected, a requirement is that you have some background in advanced engineering design. But apart from that, no, as long as you have a background in a STEM subject and a good command of maths, you should be able to tackle any of these core and optional modules.
Great. Now, the dissertation, like most masters, is 60 credits, so it's a third of your whole qualification. Can you give some examples of interesting topics that recent students have submitted?
Thank you. Yes, I have got a little list here, which I will just refer to some of the topics that have been selected in the past. So one of the ones is this is a title, The Key Ingredient for Supply Chain Success, Competent People. So there's a big focus there on core skills and competencies in supply chain management, part of the engineering management MPO element or subject. We've got knowledge sharing in online communities and its relevance to knowledge management in the e-business era. We have project management systems across national boundaries. And we can go as far as things like sustainable design and manufacturing of office furniture through modularity and reconfigurability principles. So there's a wide range of topics that students may choose to do research and dissertations in.
Excellent. In terms of user experience, as it were, can you describe a typical week in the life of one of your students in terms of, being taught, private study, lab, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So in every week, a student will learn something about 4 modules, and this consists of lectures, labs, workshops, and it's usually a 2-hour session for labs, lectures and workshops combined, but some of the modules extend a little bit more than that and could be 4 hours. And then on top of that, we expect the student to spend at least about 120 hours. If we're doing a 15 credit module for 30 hours contact hours, that's labs, lectures and workshops, we'd expect 120 hours of private study as well.
So that's very intense.
It is quite intense, yes, because everything's condensed into this 1-year master's. So we do expect students to commit fully and spend, 120 hours for the 30-hour contact hours that they have with us.
Wow, yes. So we touched on it earlier, but accreditation, can you just run through who the accreditors are and what the benefits they confer to both UK and international students?
Yes, so engineering management, fortunately, has been accredited by 2 engineering bodies, which is the IET and IMechE. The benefits are huge, actually. If students decide that they want to become members of either of these bodies, they can progress to chartership status by doing that. But other than that, these bodies hold a lot of kudos, a lot of prestige. So even international students who may not want to seek chartership or membership with these bodies will be. Their degrees are, it's an indication of quality and prestige by having these accredited qualifications, even in their, outside of the UK. And these 2 bodies are recognised internationally as well. So it's, as I say, an indicator of kudos, and why not have that? And of course, there are other benefits as well, such as networking with other individuals that are part of the membership or the bodies, as well as sort of networking with local industry and engineering bodies, which is fantastic.
It's worth a lot, yes. And finally, can you give some examples of career outcomes?
Yes, I wrote a few notes down for that because there are many, and I think we are very fortunate to have many of our students find themselves in good job opportunities.
Do they tend to go straight in?
Many do go straight in. Others may want to progress to sort of further study and do a PhD in the area of engineering management, but many do go straight in, yes. So in terms of employers, for example, I was just looking through my LinkedIn list the other day, and I've got contacts with many students. Lufthansa, Renishaw, Amazon, Tata Steel Europe, BAE Systems, Bosch, Canon are some of the big names that students go to. But of course, there are SMEs as well, and many students, not many, but some students start their own businesses as well, which is great. So yes, a lot of private sector, but also public sector opportunities arise as well. And those that don't go directly into management may end up as a supply chain analyst, or some go into consultancy. It's really quite varied, but we are fortunate, and I think the results speak for themselves. We are fortunate that many of our students end up in great places after they leave Brunel with an MSc in Engineering Management.
Yes, excellent, thank you. Well, I think we've covered most of the areas that prospective students tend to ask us about. But if you're watching and there are still some questions that you feel haven't been answered, please send us an email to our inquiries address, which will appear on the screen. It's inquiries@brunel.ac.uk, couldn't be simpler. And if you mention Engineering Management, MSc, in your email, it will be forwarded to Susan and she will reply to you. Okay, but for the time being, thanks very much for watching. Thanks, Susan, for joining me.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.